Hey guys, so today we're going to be making churros. Churros is a really awesome snack that you can get at a lot of food trucks, food carts, theme parks. This is actually the recipe based from Disney World's churros, so these are going to be awesome. To make this recipe, you are going to need sugar, flour, salt, 3 eggs, a stick of butter, water, oil, which you will cook your churros in, some measuring cups, measuring spoons, either a piping bag or something to put our batter in. If you have any kind of tools to make the fun little edges, you can use those as well. If not, don't worry about it. Also, you will want some form of container. This is where we're going to put our cinnamon and sugar to roll our churros in. And also you need a container that you can put on the stove and a spatula to help you mix it together. So, gather all your ingredients and let's get ready to make churros. Hey guys, so the first part you want to make with your churros is you're going to take 1 cup of water. We're going to be putting all of this into our bowl that we're going to be putting on our stove. You want to put 1 cup of water, an entire stick or 8 tablespoons of butter. Then you want to take 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Put that in there. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now, after we have all of these in our container, we are going to transfer this bowl over to our stove on medium-high until everything mixes together. So, put yours together and then let's come back and see. So, while we are waiting for our mixture on the stove, you can see behind me, while we're waiting for that to come to a boil, I'm going to show you how to mix the cinnamon and sugar that we're going to be rolling our churros in. So for this, you're going to be taking 1/2 cup of sugar and placing this into a pretty flat container that you'll be able to roll your churros in. So I'm going to spread that out over the bottom, just like this. Then I'm going to take 1/2 teaspoon of my cinnamon. I'm going to put a heaping teaspoon because I really like cinnamon. And then you can even use this teaspoon to mix your cinnamon and sugar so you're not making another spoon dirty. So after you've mixed this well, you can even shake it to mix it. Just make sure it's all spread out there. And then your cinnamon and sugar is all ready for when your churros are done. Okay, so the other thing I want to do before my mixture reaches a boil, which is almost there, it's starting to bubble, is I want to prepare my piping bag. To do this, I want to take a Ziploc bag and I want to cut off 1 corner. You don't want your corner any larger than 1 inch. Now I have a piping tool which will give me the cool little spirally edges on my churro. If you don't have that, that's totally okay. Your churro will still taste fantastic. I'm going to screw that in place right there. And now I am ready for my churros. I'm going to put my batter in here and then I'll squeeze it out right here. So it's just about time. Okay, so as you can see, my mixture is boiling and it smells so good. It smells like cinnamon. So after it's boiling, you're then going to reduce your heat to a low heat. And this is where you're going to add your flour. You're going to have to stir really fast because you want this to make a nice, really thick dough. So I'm going to add 1 cup first. I'm going to start stirring. It's getting really thick, really fast. And then really quickly, I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of flour. In total, I have 1 1/4 cup. Okay? So, stir really quick, be really strong, but be careful. You want to make sure you can't see any of the flour. Get all as many lumps out as you possibly can. We don't want lumpy churros. There, we have a really nice dark colored dough. So turn your heat off. You're going to remove this from the heat. You can sit this on a cooling pad And then we're going to let this dough rest for about 5 minutes, okay? And then once it's rested, we're then going to be adding our eggs. So while your dough is resting, there are 2 things you can do to prepare for the next step. Thing number 1 is you want to get a plate ready with a paper towel. This is what you're going to put your churros on after we cook them. So I'm just going to take a paper towel and put it onto a plastic plate because this will help absorb a little bit of the grease, and you'll lay them on here before you roll them in your sugar mixture. The other thing you can do is you can start getting your oil ready. So in the pan that is safe for the stove, like that one over there, you want to put approximately 1.5 cups of oil onto medium heat, okay? This is what you're going to be using to fry your churros. So get everything ready because we're almost ready to make them. Okay, so I am ready for the final step of creating the dough for my churros. Now it's time to add my eggs. I'm going to add 1 egg at a time, stir thoroughly, and then add the next one. So first egg into my churro. And now I want to mix this around. This is going to make our dough a lot more liquid-like because it adds a lot of moisture to it. Make sure you add it and mix it very thoroughly. Okay, egg number 2. The smell is delicious. It smells like a Christmas cookie. If you've ever made a snickerdoodle before and you know what that is what this smells like. Now, if you have a mixer, an electric mixer, you could mix this with that. That would make it a lot easier, and it would be easier on your hands. But if you want a good arm workout, mix it by hand. Okay, and egg number 3. These are farm fresh eggs, and so these have a really dark colored yolk, which means they have a lot of protein in them. Okay, so we're gonna mix this thoroughly as possible, and then we are ready to put it into our piping bag. So as you can see, this moves around a lot easier now. Pressing it along the side there just really helps it to distribute evenly amongst my dough. But I don't want just random egg. That would be gross. I mean, eggs are good and all, but I want churros right now, not eggs. So after you have a beautiful, evenly mixed dough, you're ready to put it into your piping bag. Now, the easiest way I have found to do this is by taking a cup, placing your bag inside the cup and over the edges like this. This will keep your bag open, and then you are able to very neatly put your dough into it. The great thing about a Ziploc bag is you can close the end of it so that nothing will escape and nothing will go out. Really scrape your sides because you want as many churros as possible. So now I'm going to take my bag out. Look how easy that was. Get as much air out as possible. And I'm ready to start creating my churros. Are you ready? I hope so. Okay guys, so I'm ready to put my churros into my oil. I'm going to make them bite-sized churros. So I'm going to make them about 2 to 3 inches long, and then scrape off on the edge of the pot. You could also use a knife to scrape off on the edge, but I found this is a lot easier. Okay, so see how they are boiling? That is what you want. Now we're gonna leave these in here until they are golden brown, which is only a few minutes. And then immediately after you take these out, we are going to cover them in our cinnamon and sugar mixture. Just keep adding a few more. If you don't plan to eat them right away, I would recommend putting this in the fridge or even freezing the dough until you are ready to make them. Now, if you have metal tongs, these are best for moving the churros around. I just move them around a little bit to make sure they don't get stuck to each other, because I want my nice individual churros so that they have more cinnamon and sugar on them. Let me show you already within just a minute or two, they're already getting nice and golden brown. So I'm going to take this, literally as soon as I pull it out, I let it drip a little bit. I'm going to roll it in the cinnamon and sugar and then place it on the plate we had prepared. They are getting beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing that with the churros until I have all of them out. So the last thing I like to do with my churros is take a little bit of Nutella and then put it on my churro, and then dug in. Delicious.